Tonight I want to talk about an extremely important and very common mental illness among so-called intellectuals and people in academia. It's called narcissistic abuse. What is it about? What are the reasons? And how we can solve it? I spent a lifetime in academia, hanging out with people, PhD students, professors from that are graduates, professors who got graduated from MIT, doctorate or bachelors, like Richard Aratia, or like Professor Dr. Michael Neely from University of Southern California, who got PhD from MIT, or Solomon Golub, or Sheldon Kamiani from USC, PhD number theory from MIT, Sharif University of Technology, professors and students, lots of them. Worked with them, talked with them for about 600 hours aggregate since 28 till now, about 17 years. And people from Stanford, Berkeley. I've been to the campuses and just hanging out with PhD students from China, US, the brightest of brightest. And I've seen a common trait, common characteristic between these people. I'm not here to diss. This is a rap expression. This means, like, talk negatively or criticizing someone. I don't want to diss them just to get recognition. I don't want to. It's just a serious concern, and it's very, very common. It's called narcissistic abuse. They lack emotional maturity, all of them, with no exception. The higher you get in academia, the more you have lack of emotional maturity and emotional education. Again, I can refer you to David Hume, the Scottish philosopher. The solution is balance between emotion and logic, or maybe making mandatory, obligatory for PhD students in STEM fields, science, technology, engineering, mathematics, making it obligatory to take creative, not just science, creative, not just studying, creative classes of art, making music, not just knowing music, making music, making movies, making art, something like that. Emotionally, have some emotional products. Extremely important. You cannot enter a territory of famous academic person. Why not? In a social encounter, you should have this opportunity. For example, Henry Yuan from Columbia University, graduated in quantum complexity theory from MIT. He interrogated me about 20 minutes, where do I come from? And then I asked him, where does he come from? He said, somewhere in California. And he said, it's a nice place. And he got very nicely, I said, sincerely, nicely, kindly, I said that. And he got extremely offended. Proof, his grimace and his facial gesture. He's a professor at Columbia University, and he was nominated, or he got elected for one of the most important scientists of 2021, or in past 5 years he got elected an award. He got an award, something like that, for being a very prominent scientist in the world. And my encounter with him was in Berkeley for 2 weeks in 2014. Spring 2014, in Berkeley campus in Simon Institute, quantum games workshop organized by Thomas Vidic Professor Thomas Vidic. This pattern, behavioral pattern, I have observed it about 2,000 times between students of Sheriff University of Technology professors and also MIT, Berkeley, Stanford, USC. The more you go to the higher ranking universities, the less you have emotional maturity. Unfortunately. Why? Because, wow, I have a gold medal. Wow, I got this into this prestigious university. I'm so special. And you feel power. And there's no break. There's no stop for that power. You get into a huge amount of competition, poisonous competition, and jealousy. And there's no humanity there. Yeah, you might work on the curing cancer, but are you a human being? A robot can do that too. And again, I'm not criticizing to get recognition. This is an extremely serious concern. And you can really, when you are poor and you criticize the rich. Oh, you're poor. He's the poor guy. He's jealous. When you're not pretty subjectively or based on the common perception of a society, you're not pretty, you're ugly, and you criticize the huge amount of attention and an overrated image of a celebrity who is considered to be extremely beautiful or blonde or whatever, then you get attacked again that you're jealous. How do you know I'm jealous? I'm just criticizing. That's an ad hominem attack that one might have against me. Ad hominem attack, logical fallacy. It has no value in the debates. It doesn't matter who I am, what I say. It doesn't matter who I am. My personality doesn't matter here. What I say matters. Why this topic? Extremely common in toxic relationships, workplaces, families. People suffer it for years without realizing it has a name. Deeply cinematic, two-faced charm, slow manipulation, inner disintegration. Emotionally rich, perfect for a dark, poetic, or raw psychological film. Do you have any idea how many times I got menaced and threatened to death by Sheriff University of Technology graduate students? People who got graduated from Sheriff University of Technology. Only because I criticized their work or attitude politely. So many times. That's a mental illness, sickness that they have. If you when you publish your PhD thesis on online or your journals publicly, anyone has the right to send a very polite, formal, professional email to the writer of that journal and criticize it. That's not only an exception. It must be very common. It's like it's a completely common thing to do that. But people, because of their megalomania and their mental illness and narcissism and narcissistic abuse disorder, they cannot tolerate any kind of criticism toward their work. That's a fact. So many of them. What is narcissistic abuse? A form of psychological abuse carried out by a person with narcissistic traits or full of narcissistic personality disorder, NPD, including the dangerous subtype pervert narcissist, a term more commonly used in France, Europe. It's not just arrogance, it's systematic emotional destruction. And these people, they want to have you under their dominance. You cannot be confident in front of them and play it. You must beg them, you must get on your knees, you must obey what they say. Otherwise, they're going to crush you, directly or indirectly. The abusers uses love, guilt, charm, rage, and confusion like tools to dominate. Key phases of narcissistic abuse: love bombing. And Albert Camus, he said that also. Be careful about the compliments because they're going to raise you, they're going to make you fall. Next day, oh, you're amazing, you're huge, you're wonderful. Next day, you're a piece of shit. That's exactly. You one mistake, you're out. That's a very old technique of narcissistic assholes. Love bombing, overwhelming flattery, attention, gifts, you're the soulmate, the one perfect, it feels euphoric, but it's a bait. Devaluation, the next phase. Subtle criticism, undermining, comparisons, withholding affection. You feel confused, what did I do wrong? Gaslighting, they deny reality. Twist facts, you question your memory, your emotions, your sanity. I never said that, you're too sensitive, you're imagining things. If you criticize what they said, I never said that. That's the technique that they use. You imagine things, you're crazy, you need medication, you need to go to mental hospital. Control and isolation. They isolate you from friends, family, you become dependent on their approval. You begin to lose your identity. Discard. Fifth, sudden detachment, cruel indifference, often replaced by someone else in new supply. You're left devastated, but they act like nothing happened. 6. Hoovering. They come back, apologize, cry, beg, but only to re-enter your life and repeat the cycle. Psychological mechanism. Gaslighting erodes self-trust. You doubt your own reality. Trauma bonding, intermittent abuse, plus kindness creates addiction. Projection, they accuse you of what they do. Lying, cheating, being selfish. Splitting, you're either perfect or worthless, no in between. False empathy, they mimic emotions but don't feel them. Symptoms in the victim: anxiety, depression, post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD, loss of self-worth, obsessive rumination, what happened to me? Isolation, emotional numbness, or hypervigilance. Dramatic and visual elements. That's the next thing that I'm gonna do for my clip. Thank you so much, and have a nice day, and don't be an asshole. And it's not me or you to say who is an asshole. It's bad logic and rationality. Don't use logical fallacies. Ad hominem attack, ad populum, and appeal to authority, the most common ones. And if you do, fuck you. Go fuck yourself, motherfucker.